Hello, friend. Today's kitchen location is Aalborg, Denmark. Today we're making frikadeller, Danish meatballs. But for me, this isn't just a recipe, this is a family history. I grew up making meatballs with my grandma, who was a first-generation Danish American. All the while I was learning to make frikadeller meatballs, I didn't think too much about it. To me, we were just making meatballs. I loved hanging out with my grandma, and I loved the little tricks and tips that she taught me. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was learning this process, how the meat mixture comes together, what the consistency should be, and that special formation of the meatballs. I'm really excited to share this recipe with you today and the little story history that goes behind it. Frikadeller is one of Denmark's most beloved comfort foods. Pan-fried meatballs, usually made with pork and beef mixed together, bound with eggs, onion, milk, and breadcrumbs. These little meatball patties are pan-fried until they're crispy on the outside and still tender and juicy on the inside. Okay, so here's the awe part. To me, making meatballs with my grandma was just making meatballs. Years later, when I was an adult, I was helping a friend who also has Danish roots throw an Italian-themed dinner party. I told her, hey, I'll make the meatballs and you can make something else. So I got to work making meatballs and doing my thing. And when she glanced over and saw what I was doing, she said, "You're not making meatballs, you're making frikadeller." It was kind of at that moment that I realized and put it all together that our way of doing this really was frikadeller. It really wasn't a universal meatball recipe, and I'm good with that. And now I've learned that there are different ways of making meatballs, but I still tend to default back to mostly making them frikadeller style. It makes me feel warm and cozy, makes me feel connected to my grandma, and it also makes me feel connected in a way back to her motherland, Denmark, that we're fortunate enough to be able to spend 30 days. So please accompany me on my little nostalgic journey of making frikadeller Danish meatball. Okay, here are the ingredients. These two pieces of bread will become breadcrumbs, oil for frying, milk, about a pound of pork, beef, butter for frying, 2 eggs, an onion, salt, pepper, and a little bit of flour. And my little grater back there is going to be my secret weapon for 2 items. Optional items we're not going to be using today, but feel free, are a clove of garlic, not Danish, but provides some taste. 3 or 4 shakes of Worcestershire sauce, not Danish, but provides some taste. And you could also put in a small amount of nutmeg or allspice, which is very Danish, but not everybody likes it, so I'm leaving it out today. We're going to start off making some breadcrumbs. They need to get soaking, and this is messy.
The reason I'm making breadcrumbs instead of buying them is we're full-time travelers spending about 30 days in each location, and I just really hate to be wasteful. If I were to buy a bag of breadcrumbs, I'm sure I wouldn't go through it in 30 days. So I'm just going to grate this up and make it by hand.
Next we'll grate the onion. You could certainly zing this in a food processor if you have it. That would be fine. Some people drain off the liquid. I incorporate it with my meatballs because I like onions and I like onion flavor. It's up to you, and you know your family best. All right, next we're going to get our breadcrumb mixture soaking. So take a 1/2 to 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs, about a 1.5 tablespoons of flour, about a half a cup of milk. I'm going to add salt and pepper, white pepper if you have it, otherwise work with what you have. Some salt. Now we're going to stir this all up and get the mixture moistened, get the breadcrumbs soaking, and the consistency should be about how I think most people eat oatmeal. I give this 5 to 10 minutes to let everything come together and let the breadcrumbs absorb the milk. Let's prepare the meat mixture. First we have about a pound of pork. Nope, no paper. And then we have about a pound of beef, 2 eggs, shredded onions, juice and all, and our breadcrumb mixture. And if you wanted your optional items, this would be the time, your Worcestershire, your garlic, your nutmeg or allspice. Here's where they would go in. Next, we're going to mix this all up with a spoon or even your hands. And we always have milk and breadcrumbs on the side so we can adjust as needed. Let's mix this up and I'll show you the consistency. Okay, here's the consistency we're looking for. It's a little loose, it's a little pasty, but not so loose that it's wet. And I'm going to show you the process of forming meatballs, the way that I learned anyway. You have a little spoonful, you kind of slap it in your hand, you pass it back to the spoon, you slap it a little more, and you're done. I'm going to make a little plate of these to be prepared for the frying pan. There you go, number 2. Should be kind of a flattened egg shape. Now for frying the frikadella, we're going to make sure that the bottom of the pan is coated with oil. And I'm going to give it a nice big blob, maybe 2 tablespoons of butter, so we get that buttery taste, but also the oil will keep it from burning. I have this on medium to medium high. Let's see how that goes. Okay, showtime. Let's start. These will go for about 3 or 4 minutes per side. Squeeze another guy in there. Looking good so far. Oh boy, do I wish you could smell it in here. Let's see how we're doing. Oh, that one looks great. Depending on how you like it, you could go a little browner, but looks good. Coming along, looking good, looking good. These 3 need a little more. I'd say these are lunch size or snack size. I've also seen them made much more like burger size or baseball size. You can make the size that you like. And we'll keep cooking these in batches until we've used up all of our meat mixture, adjusting the heat as we go as needed. Frikadella are traditionally served with potatoes and gravy or with pickled vegetables, rye bread. Make sure it's buttered all the way to the edges, and a little lunchy snack. Wow, that takes me right back to my grandma's kitchen. And I'm just thrilled and honored to be making it here in her motherland of Denmark. I wish she could be here with me today, but she's gone. But her memory lives on, especially when I can make frikadelle in her honor. This has been such a nostalgic journey and makes me feel close to loved ones and makes me feel even closer to Denmark. Thanks for joining me today on my wonderful trip through memory lane and nostalgic tasting of Frikadeller. I'm so happy you could be here. If you're enjoying this content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share this with a meatball lover in your life. So what foods do you have in your home or in your kitchen that connects you with your roots? I'd love to hear about it. This has been a great day for me. I'm so happy you could be here, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.